Bingo, bingo, bongo. Alright guys, out here at the lake, and we've had some pretty tremendous rainfall recently, and the lake is higher than I've pretty much ever seen it in my life. 20 years old, lived in this town forever, or my whole life, 20 years, and I've never seen the lake get this high. We had a rainstorm, we had a bunch of snow that melted, so as you can see we got all these flooded tules. So tied on a big rat, and we're just gonna fish this big rat really slow in and around this tules and see if we can't get bit after I get out of the tree. There we go. It's just a big wake bait. I think this is the Rego alpha rat. I believe this is that rat. And the water is freezing cold. I mean, it's January. Water is probably, I don't know, 46 degrees, maybe colder. And so I'm just working this rat really slow, because believe it or not, fish will still eat topwater in freezing cold water. They just have to be shallow enough, and it has to be worth eating. So a big rat like this, people think it's a summertime bait, which it's a great summertime bait, great summertime night bait. But when the water gets really flooded and the fish move up into shallow cover, even in the cold water, if they're sitting in a foot of water, you're only bringing that rat a foot over their head. So as long as it's big enough and slow enough and stays above their head, a lot of times they're willing to eat it. Now if you're throwing it over 50 feet of water, obviously you're probably not going to get one to come up and eat it in that cold water. But throwing it in 2, 3, 4, max 4 feet, and these fish are just sitting down there. You're going right over the top of them, and you're going so slow that there's no reason they're not going to just come up and take a sloop at that bait. So I'm just walking this rat. This is the only big rat that I own right now. It's a Rego alpha rat, the biggest one he makes. And there's basically two ways you could fish this. You can, or there's I guess more than that, but you could do a straight retrieve. You get the slow straight retrieve, and it kind of just wobbles. It doesn't have a lot of big wobble, it's just kind of a slow, tight wobble. And that's on a really slow retrieve. I'm throwing this Trinx 300 that has like a 5, what is this? A 5.2 to 1, I think, or 5.3 to 1. So you can do that. If you go a little bit faster, it does dive. If you go too fast, it blows out and tips up. But if you go a little bit faster, it dives maybe a foot under the surface. And I mean, I'm sure at the right time that could be effective, but the way I'm fishing this right now, because it is so cold and I want to move it slow, is I'm actually kind of walking the bait. So I'm kind of twitching it, and so it kind of does a little bit of a walk, and I pause. Kind of a twitch, a pause, and I'm really pausing the bait and letting the bait not move much. When it does move, it's a big presence that has a lot of drawing power. Those fish see it, but I'm letting it pause and sit there so those fish that are moving slow in this cold water have time and to come up really slow and look at it. And then when you go to twitch it again, they sloop it in. So it's just kind of a really slow kind of a walk. And there's the swim. Hopefully you can see that. There's the swim action out of it, which is a great, you know, if I'm trying to move around, like say summertime, or you know, if I'm night fishing, that swim like that, you can swim it. You can't swim it too fast or it rolls over, but you can get it, you know, kind of a medium, slower retrieve. But yeah.